the smell for my baby, so I wanted to change it before I walked into the store. I took him out of the car seat and I laid him on the chair, and I had his diapers right here, and then someone said hola, and I couldn't even turn, and that was just, I don't remember nothing. I got up off the floor and I didn't see my child. Someone took him from me.
A little lazy eye. What's the only thing that's distinctive about him, that he has no birthmarks.
Light skin.
Beautiful, healthy baby boy, 7-month-old baby boy.
It was on the evening of August 14th, 2025, in the normally quiet streets of Ukiah, California, a frantic 911 call pierced the calm. Rebecca Haro, mother to 7-month-old Emmanuel, reported that she had been attacked, and when she regained consciousness, her baby was gone. The sun was beginning to set, long shadows stretching across suburban lawns, the kind of evening that normally invites quiet walks and porch conversations. But that day, peace was replaced by terror. At first, it seemed like a tragic, straightforward kidnapping, a random attack in a parking lot, a story too familiar, too simple. Yet, as investigators began examining the tiniest details, the narrative began to twist. Could the very person crying for help be hiding a secret, a truth so dark it could shake the foundation of trust in an entire community? Every glance, every pause, every word could be a clue. And right now, it's up to you to decide whether you'll be left behind or stay in the know. Subscribe now, because if you wait, the chilling truth might reveal itself, and you'll be left guessing while others already know what really happened. It was a quiet August afternoon in Ukiah. The sun low, casting long shadows across the parking lot of Big Five Sporting Goods. The chatter of shoppers mingled with the distant hum of cars. A normal day in a sleepy suburban town, until chaos struck. Rebecca Haro, mother to 7-month-old Emmanuel, had parked her car near the entrance. She bent down to change her baby's diaper on a small folding mat she carried. Her hands shook, not just from the heat, but from something deeper, an underlying tension that had been building for weeks. Suddenly, she claimed, a stranger appeared, ambushing her. A brief struggle, a fleeting shadow, and then silence. When Rebecca came to, Emmanuel was gone. Her voice trembled as she dialed 911, frantic, panicked, pleading for help. Yet, as detectives later pieced together witness statements, questions arose. One woman recalled seeing Rebecca walk with Emmanuel across the lot 20 minutes before she claimed the attack occurred. A security guard remembered a man lingering nearby, but not approaching her. The timeline didn't add up. Small inconsistencies that seemed almost imperceptible, yet critical. Investigators noted Rebecca's body language during initial questioning. Her hands wrung nervously, eyes darting, voice quivering at some details, eerily steady at others. Her story was coherent, yet rehearsed in parts, as if she had anticipated every question. Neighbors watched from a distance. Mrs. Delgado, who lived 2 doors down, whispered to a friend, "I saw her earlier, changing him by the car." Something about the way she looked. It wasn't panic, not really. Another neighbor shook their head. "I can't believe I'm thinking this, but something doesn't feel right." The detectives wrote in their notes, every hesitation, every micro-expression could carry meaning. Trauma can mask truth, but it can also conceal awareness. If you're watching this and you don't subscribe, you might miss the subtle signs, the clues that could reveal whether the panic was real or performed. Are you really okay with being left in the dark while the truth unfolds? Hours after the frantic 911 call, Bakersfield and Ukiah law enforcement sprang into action. K-9 units scoured streets and alleyways. Officers knocked on doors. Every neighbor, every resident, suddenly part of a sprawling investigation. The community, once calm and trusting, now buzzed with tension. Parents clutched their children tighter. Conversations in coffee shops, at bus stops, whispered questions filled the air. Was this random? Could it be someone close to her? Detectives quickly noticed subtle patterns in Rebecca Haro's statements. She recounted the attack multiple times, each version slightly different. Some details were vivid, almost rehearsed. Others vague, fleeting, inconsistent. Internal notes from the lead detective read, "Her reactions are complex. Genuine fear, yes, but also moments of calculated pause. Something is not fully aligning." Witnesses added small but critical information. One shopper remembered seeing Rebecca calmly placing Emmanuel in a stroller just moments before she claimed the attack. Another noted a man standing near her car, yet not approaching. Investigators began mapping these contradictions on a timeline, reconstructing her steps minute by minute. Every pause in her testimony, every hesitation was analyzed for meaning. Social media erupted. Neighbors speculated. Theories spread like wildfire. Some defended Rebecca, citing trauma. Others doubted, noting the discrepancies. Each comment, each post heightened the tension. The detectives knew that in cases like this, parents are almost always key. But what if the parent is not just a grieving mother, but a potential suspect? If that thought unsettles you, it should. And if you don't subscribe now, you risk missing how deep this investigation really goes, the hidden details that could reveal the truth before anyone else knows. The following morning, the Haro residence transformed overnight from a quiet suburban home into a fully secured crime scene. Police cars lined the street, flashing lights reflected off the windows. Officers moved with precision, their boots echoing on the pavement. Yellow tape cordoned off the property, the kind of barrier that instantly turns a house into a center of suspicion. Detectives carried search warrants in hand, ready to uncover anything that could explain Emmanuel's disappearance. Every closet, every drawer, every nook and corner was meticulously examined. Cadaver dogs patted softly, sniffing, alerting, retracing steps that only Emmanuel or his family could have taken. Inside, the atmosphere was tense, thick with fear and uncertainty. The mother, Rebecca Haro, stood quietly, her eyes darting from officer to officer, a mix of apprehension, frustration, and perhaps something else, something unspoken. The father, Jake Haro, watched silently, his posture rigid, hands clenched, the weight of suspicion settling across his shoulders like a heavy fog. Investigators noted every micro-expression, every subtle gesture, each one potentially telling a story the family wasn't voicing aloud. Neighbors gathered discreetly across the street. Whispers carried on the morning air. Mrs. Delgado muttered to a friend, "It's unsettling. I've never seen anything like this. And now it feels like the entire truth is hidden inside that house." Reporters tried to maintain distance, cameras capturing flashes of the unusual activity. The public waited, speculation growing, a community caught between empathy and doubt. Every item touched, every surface examined, every drawer opened carried the potential to either confirm innocence or point to something far more sinister. And now the question that lingered in every mind, including yours: could the disappearance of little Emmanuel be more than just a tragic kidnapping? Could the answers lie within the very walls of the Haro home? If you aren't subscribed now, you risk missing the chilling developments revealed in this search, details that could change everything. Are you ready to see the truth unfold?
The day after the home search, investigators turned their attention to Jake Haro's car, a vehicle that could hold secrets, evidence, or perhaps nothing at all. The car sat parked in the driveway, ordinary in appearance, yet in the eyes of law enforcement, it had become a potential key to unlocking the mystery of Emmanuel's disappearance. Officers carefully approached, gloves on, scanning the interior for fingerprints, fibers, anything unusual. Cameras captured every angle, documenting the vehicle as though it were a silent witness to events no one dared speak of. Jake Haro watched quietly from the curb, eyes fixed on the investigators, jaw tight, fingers twitching. Each action of law enforcement felt like a mirror reflecting suspicion, a reminder that nothing about this investigation was ordinary, and no one in the household could escape scrutiny. Detectives speculated internally. Could evidence in the car contradict the mother's story? Could it reveal an alternate timeline, or even a motive hidden behind fear and grief? Every item examined, every detail noted, a piece of the puzzle carefully logged. Neighbors gathered across the street. Whispers filled the morning air. Why the car? What are they hoping to find? Some expressed sympathy for Jake. Others wondered silently if he was involved. Social media exploded. Posts debated endlessly. Was the father complicit, or was the law enforcement focus merely a strategy, a way to pressure the family and uncover the truth about the mother? As the car was towed for further forensic examination, a thought lingered in every mind, and in yours. If a mother can fall under suspicion, if a father's actions can be questioned, then anyone in a household can become part of the investigation. Subscribe now, because missing these moments, these subtle shifts in the story, could leave you in the dark when the full truth finally emerges.
Slowly, deliberately, the focus of the investigation shifted. All eyes turned to Rebecca Haro. The mother, once seen purely as a grieving parent, now became the center of scrutiny. Neighbors whispered more openly. Mrs. Delgado, still shaken from the raid, confided to a friend, "I don't want to believe it, but some of the things I've noticed, her expressions, the way she reacts, it makes you wonder." Reporters chronicled every interview, every public appearance. Minor inconsistencies in Rebecca's statements, once dismissed as stress or fear, were now analyzed in detail. The tiniest pause, a shift in eye movement, a stammer, each became a potential clue. Detectives returned repeatedly, pressing her on small details. Was Emmanuel last seen in the stroller or in her arms? Did she notice the stranger, or was her account misremembered? Every question was calculated, probing for truth or deception. Inside her own home, the silence was heavy. Every room, every object in its place, yet investigators' notes suggested that even the most ordinary surroundings could conceal extraordinary secrets. Psychologists consulted on the case noted subtle behavioral patterns, hypervigilance, rehearsed speech, avoidance of certain topics, all raising questions. Could this be trauma or something more deliberate? The community's opinions split. Some sympathized, believing only a grieving mother could experience such fear. Others doubted, convinced that inconsistencies revealed a darker reality. And now, a question hangs in the air. For you, watching this story unfold, could the very person pleading for help be the one hiding the truth? Subscribe now, because if you wait, you may find out too late that you missed the signs that investigators and the community have already begun to notice. At this stage, the investigation had reached a critical point. All eyes, all questions focused on Rebecca Haro, the mother who once seemed a helpless victim, now stood under a microscope. Detectives meticulously reviewed every statement, every micro-expression, every subtle gesture. They noted discrepancies that might seem minor to the untrained eye. A repeated hesitation, a fleeting glance, a word carefully chosen. Neighbors began to recount small incidents they had previously dismissed. The way Rebecca handled Emmanuel's stroller, how she answered phone calls, brief moments in public that now seemed laden with meaning. Psychologists and behavioral analysts consulted on the case highlighted subtle patterns, hypervigilance, rehearsed speech, avoidance of certain topics, and the occasional overemphasis of fear. Was this trauma or calculation?
Law enforcement tread carefully, aware that suspicion alone is not proof. No official charges were placed, yet the weight of unanswered questions, inconsistencies, and investigative pressure painted a complex picture. Social media intensified the scrutiny. Every comment, every speculation, every shared article seemed to nudge the narrative further. Could the mother, the person closest to Emmanuel, know more than she admitted? And here's the unsettling reality. The question that you, watching this story unfold, cannot ignore. If the person crying out for help might be hiding the truth, then who can you trust? Subscribe now, because ignoring the signs now could mean missing the revelations when the full truth finally emerges. Even after days of investigation, searches, interviews, and public scrutiny, critical questions remain. Where is Emmanuel Haro, 7 months old, innocent, taken under circumstances that still puzzle authorities? Did his mother, Rebecca Haro, know more than she admitted? Did she hide details, unintentionally or with intent? Every micro-expression, every hesitation, every choice of words now under scrutiny, magnified by detectives, neighbors, and the public alike. Will police finally confirm what so many already suspect? Or is this a tragic misunderstanding, spiraling out of control under the weight of fear, assumption, and incomplete evidence? The community watches, tense, whispering theories, debating who to believe, clinging to hope or fearing the worst. Social media posts swirl endlessly, each comment, each question, each share, keeping the story alive and shaping perception before facts are fully revealed. And now for you, watching this unfold, a critical question. Will you be among those who see the truth as it emerges, or will you be left guessing, wondering why you didn't know sooner? Subscribe right now, because tomorrow, the next update could drop. If you wait, you'll be in the comments saying, "I wish I had subscribed." And for those who still won't subscribe, that is your choice. But remember, every view, every question, every share feeds this story into the spotlight, ensuring Emmanuel's disappearance and the investigation around it are never forgotten. The truth is still unfolding, the answers remain just out of reach, and you can be part of the journey to uncover them.